Ukraine First Lady asks Google to label Crimea correctly in maps.
Here's a summary of the article.
Ukrainian First Lady Olena Zelenska in a recent meeting urged Google executives to show Crimea as part of Ukraine, not Russia, in Google Maps to all users. Since Russia annexed Crimea in 2014, Google has shown the territory belonging to Ukraine to Ukrainian users, while showing it within Russian borders to Russian users. For other countries, Google has opted to display Crimea as separate from both Ukraine and Russia. The discrepancy is an unresolved, fundamental issue, Zelenska said while meeting with two Google vice presidents, according to a statement from her office, emphasizing that Google should ensure that when people look at Ukraine on a map, they see the whole country, including Crimea. Google has found its Maps feature caught in the middle of geopolitics before, and with 1 billion users and a near monopoly on its market, the maps are a significant marker of how the world views itself. In an even more recent development, Japan on Friday asked Google to modify its maps to identify the Senkaku Islands as part of Japan. While Apple continues to show Crimea as part of Russia to Russian users, it began to display Crimea as part of Ukraine to users around the world after Russia invaded Ukraine in 2022.
This post received a score of 5,100, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
This is an especially strange case for Google because literally no democratic nation acknowledges Crimea as Russian, nor does the UN as an official body. So the default stance for a Western company should be that it's wrongfully occupied Ukrainian territory.
Google already does something similar. When you click on a country's name in maps, its borders get highlighted. However, if there are territorial conflicts about the borders, when you click at the name of a country, nothing happens. The borders simply don't get highlighted because Google thinks it has no authority over what is true and what not. That they sometimes do it differently, like with Crimea, or the disputed Indian territory mentioned in the article, is weird.
You may be assigning undue importance to the exact behavior displayed in the implementation of maps you use. It may have just been too difficult to highlight two types of lines, or the lines may be assigned to the other country, or to no countries. Any number of peculiarities may exist in the underlying GIS data.
Apparently Google had problems with incorrectly mapping borders and nearly causing a war doing so. I wish this was a joke.
Google usually does display contested, disputed territories differently depending from which country you log in from. For me, for example, it is marked as contested, disputed with dashed lines. It's accurate that way.
Basically has kept India and China going to war over disputed lands as they both are shown it as theirs.
If they take a side, they might be forced to take a side on the region in the news the last few weeks: Aksai Chin, Kashmir, Dokdo, Takeshima, and Senkaku, Diaoyutai too. This isn't hypothetical. Japan got offended at Google showing both Senkaku and Diaoyutai just yesterday.
Shouldn't be that difficult for them to mark it as contested. They've done it with other areas, as the article points out.
It is marked as contested, disputed with dashed lines for me. Google usually does display those differently depending from which country you log in from.
We were never able to get them to show Nagorno-Karabakh was contested, even though it was de facto independent for over 25 years, and it was quite dangerous to lead people to believe there was nothing stopping them from driving from Baku to Stepanakert. But for some reason they just wouldn't budge.
Google Maps has the name of the creek that runs through my town incorrect and it drive me crazy.
Google has this ambiguity for too long. They're confusing Musk and other idiots.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.